I wanted to put all the spots back where they were for other games. Then we add all the rest to the list. Yo, I'm a big chungus. If you want my opinion on these, go watch last time. Where was DKC 2? Am I blind? There it is. Yuka. Or not that one. This one. Where's Tropical? Tropical freeze. Ugh. I don't know why I'm burping so much today. I haven't even eaten that much food, but I'm like, blurp. I mean, it could be from the drink I just drank. No way. No way, I can't believe this. No way, I can't believe this. Done. I don't know why I'm blanking. What? Look at it. Jungle Beat. I think just as long to refill the list. Conga 3. The Kong Racing. 64. Where you at? Where you at, DK6? There it is. The Land 2. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put in all the missing games in all the missing spots, basically. Where are you at, Land 2? Got that. Yep, this was the best one. Of the puzzles, Conga. Guess I can put every single region of the Congas and all that. Mario vs. DK2. Where are you at? Wait, that's the DSi one. That's the real one. Oh no, I actually had the. Never mind. It was the DS one. Taking a swing. I do remember not liking the DS one. That's probably my least favorite one. The bullshit it had. If it had the bullshit, it'd be a lot better. Okay, Wii returns. Color. DKC 2 GBA. Country. Alright, now it's the motherfucker. Where is he? Where are you? I've lost him now. I cannot find. There it is. Oh, where'd it go? What? The hell just happened? That was weird. You start throwing in the arcade game. What is happening? Or it's like glitching out. Throw that up. Throw that up. GBA Land. Oh yeah, tipping star bullshit. What was that one? Yeah, wow. This was the 2. Best song. Pop up. Pop up. Pop up. Pop up. Pop up. Pop up. worst possible game, Barrel Blast, yep. The absolute trash tier, where is it? Trash tier list. Trash tier, trash. Put in the trash. Put it in the trash. Put it in the trash. Alright. Da-ba-da-da. I have the order the other way around, I guess. There we go. So I don't get confused later. Make sure this is all correct. Uh-huh. 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 Honestly, I'd probably rather still play ukulele than these games. I'd actually put ukulele up. I'm actually gonna move the ukulele up a little bit and move these down. Executive decision. It's all right. Yep. All makes sense. At least there's nothing I'm looking at like, wow, why was that there? Everything's like, yeah, that makes sense. But I'd rather play ukulele again than play these games. I gotta give credit where credit's due. But now we get into the new games. By new, I mean stuff that was either played during the summer of DK and Banjo that wasn't a ROM hack or a randomizer. Or a Crash Bandicoot or Conquer or Monkey Island thrown in there. I didn't throw the other Monkey Islands just because we didn't play them. We can put, basically that's just haven't played category, right? But let's just go with these remaining entries we got here. So we got the Amiibo and Friends. That was the very last Mario vs. Donkey Kong game. And that was the one where you had to scan your Amiibos to do like anything. And like all the levels were gated behind things. So essentially it was like a $150 game. The level design was pretty uninspired. I'd literally put it in the same tier as this one. It's pretty much the same, like... The earlier ones did it better. This one did it the best, I think, Miniland Mayhem. And, besides, the other 3DS game, this one, the Mario Minis on the Move. This one was actually kind of sick. I actually kind of enjoyed this one. I wouldn't say it's D. I'd actually probably put it up... I'd probably play this one again. I'd probably put it up here with this. I'd say these were my two favorites. For traditional, would be the, like, obviously the Mario vs. Donkey Kong, but for puzzle, for like the one style of puzzle, like the 2D style, Miniland Mayhem, that was like the last DS game. That was easily the best. Everything was well thought out, good level design, good use of gimmicks. Everything was really sick. Didn't feel low budget. Minis on the Move, that 3DS download game, that was the one with the 3-dimensional dioramas. What was sick about that game was that it actually did something new with the gameplay yet again. Like, it was, especially after seeing Miniland or some of these later games, it really made me appreciate Minis on the Move a bit more. It definitely was a little bit hamstrung by the RNG. That's some reasons why I can't put it into A or S or anything like that. It's way too RNG dependent. And that's kind of my only real issue with it, honestly. If there was ways to circumvent it or speed it or whatever, like, it seemed like there was some consistency, but not always. It was, like I said, if there was ways to get more consistency, I guess, out of it, so that you didn't feel like you're getting fucked over by RNG, this would probably be the best one. So, interesting design decision that I don't think ruined the game or anything, but it's kind of like, because of it, it can't go higher than that. But I would definitely say, if you're looking for something different, I mean, that's not the same 2D style gameplay, that definitely check it out. Minis on the Move, 3DS download one. Let's keep going. So I mentioned how I realized I should mark both of them here. There's the Wii version with the shake controls, but there was also the 3DS version, which added in button controls. It was kind of bizarre because you could either do face buttons or shoulder buttons, but you couldn't do both or some shit. But they, much like DKC3 GBA, they added in an extra world. I can't remember the extra world all that much, honestly. I find Returns very forgettable. It's like everything in the SNES games is done better, but I will say giving it better controls does increase the game's quality, but it's still the same game. But I would say if you have a choice, it's like you either get 60 FPS with Wii or you get 30 FPS with good controls with more content. So it's kind of like pick your poison. You want worse controls, better graphics, less content, or you know, like portability, better controls, lower FPS, more content. A little bit easier too. They actually gave you more difficulties and stuff. There was more options to do things that to save yourself. I think with those like up and down barrel things, you know, like dun 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 dun. But yeah, I still think, especially nowadays with how good Tropical Freeze became, or like how good Tropical Freeze was, there's like no point to having these guys anymore, in my opinion. Like, I mean, obviously, like you can still re-release them and stuff, but it's almost like that's why they didn't even bother to port it to Switch, because it's just done so much better with Freeze. But there is definitely diehards. I know there's a subset of people who prefer Returns over Tropical Freeze. And a lot of that seems to come down to the more like the gameplay differences and level design differences. The second game works better with the new physics, while the original Returns tries to be more like the SNES, but without like realizing its differences, if that makes sense. It like copied it, but didn't copy it all the way. So it ends up in this weird in between, while Freeze sort of finds its own identity and kind of becomes its own game, and it sort of expands on everything. And also the level design is just remarkably better, way more interesting, way more better set. Like, it's just like I said, it comes off as a bland game in retrospect when you play them back to back. So from here, let's do these Conquer games in order. We got them all right here. So we have the black and white Conqueror's Pocket Tales. We have Conqueror's Pocket Tales Game Boy Color. We have Conqueror's Bad Fur Day N64. We have Conqueror's Live and Reloaded. And the cursed fucking Young Conquer, which was in the augmented reality. I had to include it just because we're including every game. Or trying to be as thorough as possible here. So I've really been undecided if the black and white or the Game Boy Color version of Conqueror's Pocket Tale I like better. I actually liked the difficulty of the OG one in some ways, like how you had to work for your checkpoints. Like, it wasn't just kind of free. But I also liked how the color version had like better level design, easier, like less bullshit mini games. They were still bullshit, but I think I was just warmed up to them by then as well. But it's like 95% the same game between the two of them. Besides the save points being different, like you can save anywhere you want in the Game Boy Color one. There was, I think one or two things might have been in a different order or something, but it's a little open world, so I don't think it actually mattered. I don't think anything was, no, I think it was the exact same game in the same order. But honestly, surprisingly, I'm really upset I didn't play these as a kid. I thought they were gonna be shit, so I never did. That's basically where I was at as a kid. But I would honestly say they're like an A-. These are some pretty solid Game Boy games, especially for Game Boy. Game Boy is a remarkably tough system in regards to aging. Like, it usually ages like a pile of fucking shit. You know what I mean? Like, it just fucking sits there and just like gets worse and clunkier and done better in other places with other systems and things. And to me, it makes me appreciate actually how well done these games were in regards to pacing, the game engine. It's very responsive game. The variety in regards to actually having mini games, and they actually like worked, and you know what I mean, like they functioned pretty well and all that. Tried to have a story. Even with all the Game Boy limitations, it still was able to have like different environments and different thematics and themes and sprites. So I think it was it's like the pinnacle of Rare's Game Boy output. Because I felt like they kind of just got better with each game. You know what I mean? Like land being basically the worst down here, D. Or then creeping up to like a B with land 2, and then all the way to an A with land 3. So I feel like Conker's Pocket Tales is along that same sort of level. Honestly, I'd probably do this. They are. I'm gonna put them equal, because like I said, they have trade-offs. It's like that thing with the returns thing, where it's like, it's really up to you which one you think's better. I'll put the black and white one up. But I keep leaning towards that one for some reason. Maybe because it was the first one I played, right? The first version. So I'm like more accustomed to it. But surprisingly good Game Boy games. Like, I'm still... Oh, I'm dancing. Oh, shit. Oh, okay. Oh, shit, okay. Well, what's it called? Yeah, I think they're worth checking out. You know, when people are like, oh, what are the underrated Game Boy games? You know, people say Pokemon Zelda. Like, that's not underrated, but they always say Pokemon Zelda, Mario. Check out Conker next time. I think it's worth it. I think it's pretty sick. Pretty good, like, Zelda-esque type game. The only thing that I would say doesn't make it S is if there was more music. I know that's kind of a bullshit thing to say, but I got so sick of hearing that one song. There's that, what song is it? I don't want anyone to sing it. There's like a song you hear like forever. And it's like, bro, like that like overworld hub song. And eventually gets on your nerves. Let's see, next up. Conker's Bad Fur Day. Oh shit. The legend itself. The almighty game to some people. I feel like it's such a love or hate game. You either love the game or you hate it. You're either down for the humor and the weird wackiness, or you're just like, what the fuck is this shit? This is juvenile. I hate this. I'm one of those people who loves it. I feel like it gets held back by being a collectathon still. Weirdly enough. And like they just could not, like if they just made it a linear game, it would have been better in my opinion. There's just this weird little bit of collectathoning you have to do in it. That's just like, it almost feels out of place, honestly. And then also, as we know, it got remade as Live and Reloaded, which was the one we played this year. So they're pretty much the exact same game. Live and Reloaded having more enemies, more monsters and shit to fight. Like those like spiky dudes. And a better, way better combat system. Like way better. So much easier to fight in that game. But they do censor it more. It's like all these games on this list. With like whenever there's a remake or a port. Like, well, it's better, except it's also worse. Except it's also better. I'm not sure if I'd say it's S. But I could say it's an A. I feel like it's one of those games, like I said, you either love it or hate it. I think it still holds up really well. Writing, graphically. I think it still has some interesting gameplay decisions and stuff. I'd put it like around there. Oops. Like just below DKC 1. Considering how many times I've played through the game, and it has like nothing different every time, I think that's a testament to its strength, right? Like it wasn't like a game I played through once and was like, yeah, that was cool, but I'll never play that again. It was like, you know, like one of those things where you sort of had to not necessarily be there, because there is a lot of 2000s references and 90s references and stuff. And I think just because of so much nostalgia for those eras now, I mean, the 2000 nostalgia hasn't hit yet, but we know that's coming the next like 5 years. It's an inevitable. What's it? I guess it's probably already here, honestly. There's already been like That's So Raven reboots and shit like that. 2010 nostalgia though. Let's go. Okay, what is this? What is this? But yeah, I think they've aged pretty well. They're still pretty solid. And that, I think they're still worth a playthrough. And I think that's what makes it unique. Or Like, it's not worth a playthrough because of necessarily any one specific thing. It's the culmination of what the game does altogether. Like, it's not the best platformer, it's not the best shooter, it's not the best parody game, it's not the best written game, it's not the best musical game. I mean, honestly, all of them are really good, though. You know what I mean? Like, the music's still fantastic. Well, we're dropping frames. Seldom seen frame drop. Drop. Come back. Our daily frame drop. But yeah, I'm not gushing about Conquer. Young Conquer I actually never played. Because I don't have the glasses or whatever the fuck you need for it. So maybe I'll figure out how to get to play that at some point. If I'm still able to. Maybe it's like just discontinued and gone now. But we gotta throw it on that list just to think. Oh wait, I never put this in the thing. Pretty sure this is just awesome. This is the only reason why Barrel Blast isn't in trash. It just hovers just above trash. Same with Pilot. Because they still work. Like, it's not like, oh, it's broken and whatever. I mean, I guess Nuts and Bolts works. It's a functional game, but it's just such a fucking... God, it makes me angry just thinking about it. Grunty's Revenge, again, is a functional game. But just makes such god-awful decision. It's like I said, if the Conquer Game Boy is like the best choices, this was like the worst choices. Even though they have very similar DNA. Oh yeah, Banjo-Tooie somehow got left off last time. I'd say it's a solid B+. It's around the DK64. They have very similar issues, where any percenting the game is pretty fun. I'd actually say it might be... I might do that. I might say 64 is better. The 64 has so much content, you can skip a lot of it. While Tooie, you can't skip like 80% of it. Like you have to do Grunty's Industries. You have to do like the Jolly Roger bullshit. Like you have to do so much bullshit in that game. I almost want to put it a bit lower. Like this game is of its time. It was definitely the bigger is better. I'd rather play it over Yuka. I'd say these games kind of have similar-ish issues in a way. Where like bigger wasn't necessarily better. Even though it made good decisions on that front. Like graphically it's better. Keeping the moves from the previous game was a brilliant decision. Even Yooka-Laylee having the moves it has, a really good moveset and everything. Like it's well thought out. They just could have trimmed a lot of stuff and it still would have been, it actually would have been better. It's basically the issue here. It's like diminishing returns. Where by this nature of trying to do everything so huge and so big, because basically everything had to be big, connected, and huge. I think if they focused more on connected, but kept the worlds of Kazooie, it would have been seen as like the best fucking game ever. So like interconnected worlds, still having the split up, still having some of those unique stuff, but they scaled back the size of the worlds in Tooie. This would probably be like the best game easily. It would be an S tier with it. But I feel like because of the fact that you have to do majority of the content on like DK64, a lot of it is still as insane. Yo, it's not Koi Pusher. Still has insane like size creep. There is little. I've seen enough playthroughs and played this game enough where like you can literally go hours without finding a Jiggy in Tooie. Honestly, I wonder if I should even put it lower. Whoa, 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 whoa. They just got screwed up. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, no, yeah, they're just all kind of here. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, we're updating the tier list with all the remaining games. Like even the stuff we didn't play Young Conquer, but I had to throw it in there. But I think we're in. Oh wait, no, I was trying to move Tooie. Tooie didn't want to move. I'll say it's a B minus. I think Yooka-Laylee... Nah, yeah, just keep it here. You know what? Just keep it there. So I'm like, I'd still rather play Tooie than Yooka-Laylee. But that's only because Yooka-Laylee's like a bit more bland in some ways. Like there's many interesting mini games and stuff. Like I find Yooka-Laylee has like 5 mini games that they repeat like forever. Well, Tooie has similar mini games, but they'll be different like level designs and situations and like mechanics and stuff. So yeah. Let's go through all the Crash stuff. We have Crash 1, the OG. Solid game bullshit password system. It's probably like a B. Yeah. I'd rather play Donkey Konga. Probably put it like here. Yeah, I'd rather play this than that. I do it based off like what would I rather play. So Crash 1, for a first outing, it's honestly pretty solid. Its biggest shortcomings being locking the save system behind getting every single crate, which was absolutely asinine. I can't put it any higher than the B for that. The only reason why it even stays at B is because it has a password system. So it kind of circumvents it because you can just look up a code or whatever. So you can like get back to where you were. But it's a very like solid game. The why it can't go higher, the later games just do a better job in regards to content, like amount of things to do, even in regards to like the crate situation, and like I feel like it does better like chasing levels and stuff. Like I said, like Crash 1 feels like very like solid foundation. It reminds me of Kirby's Dream Land. Like there's nothing wrong with the game pretty much for the most part, but it's a little like basic. You know what I mean? The boss fights are really easy. Like those are like DKC 1 has basic ass boss fights, but I'd almost say Crash Bandicoot's boss fights are even more basic. Like at least DKC's boss fights, like DKC 1 and 2's, you can at least like they at least like have like stages. Like they at least like will wait and stuff. Crash 1, you can literally just kind of like just jump on them. You know what I mean? Like half the bosses, you can just like they're dead. And Crash 2 honestly has the same issue. Crash 3 fixes it a little bit, but on every Crash game kind of has that issue of like, I don't know, he's dead. I don't fucking know. So Crash 2 honestly I think is, why does this keep happening? Like I click it and drag it and then it like drags and clicks something else. I might have to move stuff around depending on how things go. We'll see though. I think it's better than these. Yeah. Honestly, Crash 2 feels great. Level design's great. Doesn't overstay its welcome. I don't think short games are bad, honestly. Some people will be like, oh, the game's only like an hour long. What the fuck? Sometimes that can be fun to like sit down and like in an afternoon literally beat a game. Like you don't have to spend like 5 weeks of your life and fucking research things. But it can be fun just to have a nice little like little afternoon with a game. You know what I mean? And that's what Crash 2 feels like to me. Much like a lot of these games, right? Well, not all of them. You know, stuff like Banjo will take you longer. But it's nice to have this essentially like a palate cleanser kind of game is like what I like to call it. Like you would play it between some other bigger, heavier titles, or maybe you play it while you're also playing an RPG or something. But yeah, Crash 2 literally just takes Crash 1. They fix all the issues, quality of life features like the better save system, better maneuverability, like the slide and the new abilities you get, more interesting boss fights like the rocket shooting apple thing, and like even just like general like mechanics like the surfboard, and like I said, like the polar bear stuff is more interesting than the boulder. More intricate level design that goes more directions. The death path stuff, which I think might have been in the first game, but 2 does it a bit better, I think. Like, it's a bit more obvious, like, about the gems and stuff. It's not so much of a guessing game. I don't know. I think 1 only had the box gems, right? I think 2 introduced death gems. And then the only real fault, the reason why I can't give 2 an S, is the final boss is just what? Like, I still don't understand if they ran out of time, if they just gave up, if it's supposed to be like a big joke, like that it's purposely done silly and like that. Like, oh, look at the big tough Cortex, he dies in like 1 hit. The Crash 1 final boss fight's actually pretty sick. Crash 2's boss fight is like, what? So you might be thinking, Crash 2 is so good. What about Crash 3? It's a B+. It was one of my first PlayStation games I got when I rebought a PS1 when I was like 12 or whatever. You know, like buying out of the garage sale for $5 or whatever. But Crash 3 was one of the first games I got for it, and Final Fantasy 9. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's still worth playing. But as anyone who's seen the game, it's like, when are we getting to the platforming? Like, if you don't like platforming, Crash 3's for you. Because you got fucking, what is it? Riding the Tiger, jet ski, the biplane, the, dinosaur riding. You have underwater scuba sections. You have, there's another one I'm missing. You know, like, that's 5, like, that's 5 of the stages of the 25 that also have multiples. So at least, like, over half of the game is gimmick levels, motorbike riding and shit. But I will say it makes up for it in regards to having, like, a lot of depth for that content. Like, the time trial stuff's interesting. Definitely added replayability as a kid. The secret warp world room stuff was done a bit better, I think, as opposed to how number 2 did it. 2's was a bit confusing, but 3, they made it like its own hub. It made a bit more sense or whatever. And I think the boss fights again got improved more and more. Yeah, no, especially when we replayed it recently. As a kid, I noticed it too. And the part that's so frustrating is the platforming parts in 3 are like some of the best parts. They're so amazing. But if you look at Crash Bandicoot 3 and you look at Uncharted, they're very similar games. And I don't mean that in like, oh, they're both goofy hedge. No. I mean like gameplay wise. Like you're basically just doing a bunch of different variety gameplay, like back to back. Like Uncharted 1 starts with like the shootout jet ski shit. Then you're like grappling, then you're like going through caves, then you're platforming, then you're shooting. Like this kind of idea of switching up the gameplay. And I know they did Jak and Daxter after this, which was kind of more of like a Mario 64 type thing. Never really liked that series though. Never really did it. But yeah, no, if Warped, much like 2E, where instead of doubling down on the parts that were like not the best parts of the previous game, they focused on the core part that worked really well and refined that. It would easily be S or A or like, you know what I mean? It would easily surpass. Because the parts that are done well, they're done really well. Same with 2E. The platform and the ledge climbing, like all the new movements and like aiming and everything is so good. But then they wrap it in this fucking shell of shit that you don't want to do. And that's typically why most people would prefer non-gimmick platformers. And why I think DKC 3 excels so well is that it doesn't change the base gameplay. You're always platforming, but it adds stuff on top of the platforming. But it's still that refined, nice physics. Like you're still in control. You're never losing control of your character, so to speak. While sometimes in N64 they'll be like, oh, now you're a fucking clown car with a circus reticle and now fly in the sky and awkward control. Like, I think that's sometimes where that's the best way I can summarize it. Like why people prefer like Kazooie over 2E and stuff like that. Because even in Kazooie, you pretty much do everything with just the bear and bird. Not that Mumbo sucked or anything. Most people seem to be on Mumbo. being playable because you don't really use him that much. Like, you basically just use him for another check. You know what I mean? So he was kind of pointless. But anyways, Crash 4. Super solid game. It never ends. It is not a meme. I would say it's like equal to Crash 2. I would still say Crash 2 might be better. Because Crash 4 starts to get a little long in the tooth in regards to, like, repetitiveness. Like, I felt like I played the same dinosaur style level like 5 times with no difference. Or I used like the time slow ability. Although it was in different ways. There was always like, sometimes it was falling, sometimes it was switching, sometimes it was, you know, stuff was coming at me. Sometimes it was, you know, a rhythm-based section. But yeah. Like I said, I won't say it's a bad thing though, because they were trying to give it like they were trying to make it like a AAA platformer. So I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing, because like it's so rare, to see. Although Crash isn't rare, but it's so rare to see like a full-fledged like modern day attempt at a platformer that isn't indie or Nintendo, like where they're just gonna have it to a certain scope. Like Crash 4 like went well beyond the scope of what you would expect from a modern day platformer. And they also didn't charge full price, which I think is interesting. Like it was only like a $40 game or something, right? So I still think that might have been a hard sell for some people, because we've gotten to an age where it's like, I'm not paying more than like 20 bucks for a platformer unless it's Mario. It's basically where we're at nowadays. And I mean, I don't blame most people, because most platformers, like I said, you can beat them in an hour, you can beat them in an hour or two, not a lot of levels, might have a lot of stupid gimmicks. Like, there's a lot of factors I could see why, right? They're typically shorter games, so paying 40 bucks is like, yeah. I'm just talking in circles now. Insane Trilogy, which was the version we ran. I think it's super, I would honestly say it's like this is all equal. I would actually play Insane Trilogy. I really like that version. I know people grief about the physics. I don't think it's like game ruining as some people think it is. I love the new visuals. I think it makes Crash 1 like the best. This version of Crash 1 is like my favorite. It's so like, it actually is my favorite of the 3 games, which is crazy because I love Crash 2, right? But OG Crash 2 I like better than the remake, and I think that's just a nostalgia, you know, just I remember it, and I think that's the physics thing for me there. But Crash 3, it doesn't really matter because you don't play half the game. In fact, the Insane Trilogy version might be better because I think it has better controls for like the racing and stuff. Like I think it's a bit more forgiving. It could be 1-to-1 though. You know what I mean? I don't know how close they made it, or if they tried to fix it. Like I don't know Crash 3 like well enough to be like, oh, this is fucked. But especially for a modern day value, you can pick it up for like 20 bucks nowadays or cheaper or whatever. Insane Trilogy is sick. But its only real grievance is that you can slip off the platforms on smaller ones a bit easier. But like I said, as someone who's played these games growing up and the remake, I didn't find it game ruining like some people, like speedrunners, act like it is. And I think that for speedrunners it's like that because you want the game to play the exact same, like how you practiced. And so when it's not how you practice, you're like, what the fuck? So, and I get that. Like I said, that was my beef with this version of DKC 3. They just fucked with all the momentum for zero reason. All the momentum was fucked. You couldn't do like anything without dying, and it was just so fucked. And I played it like an official version. It wasn't like a emulated. It was like the Wii U. I guess it was emulated, but like the official Nintendo Wii U port, whatever bullshit. Wait, no, it wasn't. No, never mind. No, they didn't have it on that. Could it have been an emulation issue? Now we got like the thinking music. No, because I played it back in the day too, and it still felt absolutely fucked. Like on actual hardware and all that. Yeah, no. Is it me who's wrong, or is it the game? No, it's the children who's wrong. We got the Crash games. Crash Team Racing and Crash Team Racing Remake. We'll put them like together. I didn't include Nitro Kart. I basically cut it off after the Naughty Dog. I'm basically doing Naughty Dog plus 4. And the team remake, you know, and the remakes, just because like the Naughty Dog remakes. Because otherwise we would be. I haven't played all those. We just have them all here. But even in the marathon, I only wanted to do the mainline games. You You know what I mean? Like, we didn't want to do any, like, all the spin-offs and all the things. We didn't even do Crash Team Racing, even though I own it. So this game's sick. I think it's better than Diddy Kong Racing. Get fucked. Although I have a huge appreciation for Diddy Kong Racing. Like, I am surprised how much I like that game. But, it also has insanely hard boss difficulty. I think Crash Team Racing was very inspired by Diddy Kong, now that I've played them. You know what I mean? Like, now that I have, like, know Diddy Kong Racing now. You can definitely tell that that's where they got inspired by. But it has a very similar progression. You know, you got the boss stuff. You have, this great, like, feeling of progression with your character. I think you can even customize your stats. I know in the remake you can. The remake has all sorts of shit, like skins and all sorts of stuff. My only beef with it is I played it on Xbox One, and it had the most atrocious load times. And honestly, like, I almost want to put it down a little bit. The low, if there's a version with better load times, I would literally move this up, probably past the original. But the load times are just like you have the, like, it's like one of these, you know, Mario Kart 8, you know how it loads maybe like before the match and that's it. Like Crash Team Racing Remake loads for like 40 seconds before a match. Like in Mario Kart, it's like 10 seconds, maybe a bit longer. Like, and then it does have to do like another like 40-second load after the race. And like, to me, just like, it adds up so many minutes. It makes it hard to like play the game like how I want to. Like, I like just doing like online matches. Maybe I'll bang out a bunch of them back to back. You know what I mean? But with this, it's like, oh, got 2 minutes of downtime now. Oh, all right. Oh, got two. Like, it really ruined the pacing of the game for me. But like I said, that might just be an Xbox One OG issue. And it might, if you play it on like PS5, it might just fucking instantly load. You know what I mean? So in that case, it would be better. But I'm gonna go with my experience with the Xbox One version. Crash Bash. I legit haven't played this in years. I'll be honest. I remember I didn't hate it. It was very fun with friends and family. I definitely had that experience. Very fun. But I remember always wanting more. I always felt like they didn't go all the way with it. Like it could have had a bit more, I don't know what you want to call it. Because I haven't played it in a minute. But I remember, maybe I just missed like some kind of like Mario Party mode. I'm such a sucker for like going around the board and like having some kind of like thematics behind it. By the way, Sonic Forces sucks, but this song. Shining. They did not get the memo that the game was gonna be shit. That's literally all the comments. The music makes you wonder what they wanted the game to be. Undertale! This song just rips off Undertale though. I'm not joking. Yeah, you think I'm joking? Wait. Here comes the Undertale part. Are you ready? Fucking hopes and dreams. Literally rips it off. Right here. Here it comes. Hold up. Wait a minute. The composer was sitting there like, yo, I'm a fucking genius. Then they're like, fuck. No one's ever thought of this melody. Oh. I got this amazing song. Ba, 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 ba. Oh. And we got Monkey Island. I would say this was a solid A. Even A+. I would still rather play Conquer. No. I think it has better writing, Secret of Monkey Island, than Conquer. The only reason why I can't say Monkey Island is S tier, even though I love point and clicks, I love the genre, I love all these things, I found the sword fighting really obtuse. Not the insults. I love the insult. Like, that part made sense. But that whole section where you have to get more vocabulary, but the game tells you that you have enough vocabulary, but you don't have enough vocabulary, and the game keeps telling you have enough vocabulary. That part is a bit messy. Daytona! So because of that, I can't... Like, there's a few things that kind of, like, is awkward like that, but that's the big standout for me, where it felt... not even from its time period, it just felt like like, something that probably just got rushed or something, or, like, you know what I mean? Just, like, not as much effort put into that part as it should have been. But I love the trials, I love the progression of the game. I couldn't really predict what was going to happen, and I think now it's great. The ending's hilarious. Never pay more than $20 for a video game. I actually found out there's alternate endings. Not just because of the dialogue choices, but also, like, if you... Like, apparently you don't have to destroy the ship. That's actually optional. And you get a different ending if you don't destroy it. Like, you know, because your crew can, like, come back to the island. They don't get captured by the cannibals. But for a game from 1990, remarkably impressive. Very, like, it has design that was so good, it still gets copied to this day, right? Like, that whole idea of the scum system and, like, interactive story elements, like, being one of the very first of it. Like, you wouldn't have Telltale games, you wouldn't have like quick time events and all these kind of things that, like, I know obviously quick time events is like its own thing, but, you know, this whole idea of like Dragon's Lair and shit like that. Although Dragon's Lair came before this. Dragon's Lair probably inspired this, if I were to guess. That's like, Dragon's Lair was like 88 or whatever. But I feel like Secret of Monkey Island is like a better Dragon's Lair. Like, they took that idea of interactive cartoon, but they actually did it, like, good. The lyrics remind you of Tails Fantasia. That song is so insane. I remember when I first played that. My friend and I at the time, it was boying, man. I remember we were like, how is this on the SNES? Like, I was actually, like, so confused. But nowadays, I know it's just the compression technology and all that, right? And the full voice acting and everything. This game's so sick. I think you're talking about the song when, like, the game, like, when the girl goes into the house or whatever, and then there's, like, this whole, like, Japanese song. It's, like, near the beginning. I remember that one. Yeah, it's basically just, it's just loading a bunch of samples back to back so that it goes in order, and then you just time it. Very clever. Last but not least, Sega All-Stars Racing featuring Banjo-Kazooie. If you remember, my keen viewers, I said there was one game we never got to do during the summer of DK. That was it. I couldn't find a physical copy. It doesn't emulate properly. So that's something for next year. It's basically a Sonic racing game where they had Banjo-Kazooie in only the Xbox version. And this is not the same one with Danica Patrick. This is the one before Danica Patrick. Yeah, what's going on, man, Block? So don't forget, we got new zombie sounds. You can do Z, zombie, RE. RE gives you, like, the full list. I got a footstep. I haven't. It chooses between like 100 different zombie sounds. They're all from Resident Evil. But yeah, I think the list might be done. Let me just make sure this is all correct here. I didn't like change shit around too much or anything. Although it's my list, I can do what the fuck I want. Is there any limit to how many A's and B's I can have? Cause like I feel like it's like how I feel about them independently, right? All together. Ba, 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 da, da. So TKC 3, 2, Kazooie, possible layer and freeze, still the best. Yep. The A pluses, A+5. I'd say it's normal for Taste to have a bit of a bell curve, right? I know sometimes people will be like, well, if you have that many, usually it's for S tier. People get mad. Like, how could you have like 5 S tiers? I think 5 is kind of like a limit. You know, like top 5. I think that's fine. So I agree. If you have like 20 S tiers, it's like, unless of course, it's like, it depends on what it is though. Like if you're just ranking like designs of a character, you could definitely have like a million S tiers, right? But yeah. Let's go through real quick. These are all the same. Yep, I'm not gonna change my decision on those. Yeah, I could see that. And some of these look like a lot just because we have some of them are double games. Like there's 2 entries, right? And sometimes my opinion was like very similar, like with the Conquer games. You know what I mean? Like I didn't really have a they have trade-offs. I don't think one is better than the other or anything. Like I think a preference. I like the harder challenge of the original, but I like the better saves and easier mini games. It's like, you know, like that whole thing. Or like even like the Crash Insane Trilogy and 2, like this stuff. It's like it's all kind of just flip it around. Except for Crash 1, fuck that game. But so yeah, DKC, Monkey Island would go higher, except for that it's still a little confusing. Not even with I already explained myself. Just like the sword fighting obtuseness, not for the dialogue itself, but just the way the game is instructed. Conquer games, hit or miss, but they're a hit for me. Yeah, the Mario DK and the remake are solid. Crash games, they're solid A's for sure, like these ones. Yep. These are like A minuses. Yep. B plus. Yep. The reason why the remakes were is just long ass load times and weird microtransaction shit, but I'm even ignoring that. I think 3 was worse. 3 follow the same issues. These have like the exact same issues. That's kind of funny. Land 2 is pretty solid for what it was. Minis on the Move is my favorite of all these. It's like they're like tied. Minis on the Move was my favorite, like unique one. While the last DS game was the best puzzle. Congas, but 3 was the best. 3 will literally be the best because of this fucking song. Literally, 3 goes up an entire rank just because of this song.
Donkey Konga is fun to play.
2E made the list.
Yeah. Hit it right. Hit it.
Why is Yeet not in yes? And then I just said it was my favorite of the puzzles.
Clap your hands.
Is it? I don't think it's an A though.
Guys, are you ready for the funky beat? We're gonna dive into the world of extreme groove. You know what I'm saying? Keep on boom, don't get lost. Funk it up, funk it up.
Bruh. Banger.
Keep on climbing.
Right? Like, it was very solid though. Like, my reasoning for B was that while it was probably like the best and most polished of all the Mario DK stuff, the RNG brings it down. If there was a way to like mitigate it or not be so susceptible to just having good pieces and having good luck, it would actually go up to A easily. But I love the amount of content compared to Amiibo fucking bullshit scam. They don't even feel like the same game. You know what I mean? Or like the same series. Oh, I got some food coming. Let's see. Yuka, yep. I'd rather play 2E than Yuka. Crash 1, that version's pretty crap. The DSiWare game was pretty solid, but I still liked it. Yeah, I liked it better than that. Oh yeah, it was kind of short, that's why it's kind of down there. But it's still better than this one, because this one had that bullshit 100% stuff. Crash Bash, pretty solid. These are kind of the same thing. Yep. Arcade games. Fuck this game. Barrel Blast, literally, just because it's such a funny game. I could see it being such a funny drinking game. That's the only reason why Barrel Blast just escaped trash. Because I'm just picturing like 4 of your homies being like, come on! It'd be the funniest thing ever. And of course, we got the trash tier. Jungle Climber with its bullshit fucking continue life system. We have to play the entire game in like one go like a fucking god tier human. This game being just an absolute trash version of the Conquered system. Bullshit final boss where it takes like a 2-hour fucking attempt. No, it's like literally a half an hour attempt for the final boss because you have to do like 7 floors perfect or whatever without dying. And quizzes and bosses and shit. Junior Math is just barely even a game. And Nuts and Bolts, because it literally it broke my heart. Still breaks my heart to this day. It's sad. It's super sad. And then I never played Young Conquer because I don't have AR glasses. But we'll play that. We'll try to play this for next time. And then Sonic Sega All-Stars Racing. Oh yeah. Alright, here, let me just grab the food. I'll be right back. But then we will upload the list. I got secret. And secret. Ice cream. You don't know what Young Conquer is? I got chicken. Basically, it was, you know when they had, like, those Young Conquer was the first, bro. Yeah, you know how they had the, like, the Microsoft AR glasses or something? Essentially, you would put on these glasses, and you could, like, play a game around. You know how they were gonna do it with Minecraft, where you could like look at your table and the whole table would be Minecraft. Like you could like build like I could like look at my table and it would be like a Minecraft biome. Honestly, that part looked like the coolest shit ever. But yeah, they were like, "Yo, we did it with." You remember Conquer? Oh, it was HoloLens.
Young Conquer on HoloLens.
So like, they didn't want him to be offensive, so they made him young. But yeah, you have to play it like in your house. But I don't have HoloLens. I don't know if there's any way to like play this.
So, how about bringing you over to your room? This is Mr. Mankey. He's going to help me in crime. He's more competent than he looks.
Yeah, so it's a whole like AR Conquer game.
This is my room. It's already been scanned in.
It like scans your room. He's gonna calibrate. Calibrate harder!
Welcome. We've got some pretty big adventures waiting for us. Are you ready?
Needless to say, this didn't go over very well.
Hey, would you like to play a spy game? Special Agent Conker, reporting for duty.
It looks kind of like a cool premise, though. Like this idea of like augmented. Then why didn't they make him offensive, though? It actually would have made it so much better.
Do you see that circular thing that follows your gaze all around?
Indeed.
This is the cursor. Just say, let's go, or earth tap, and I'll start to run after it. Let's try it.
Let's
Now
go.
Make me move around.
Let's go.
Uh-huh.
Let's go.
Damn it, Conker! You're not supposed to have
Let's
N64
go.
If
physics.
you ever want me to stop, though, just say stop, or earth tap again. Let's try that.
Let's go.
Roger that.
Oh my god.
You can't do the couch, though.
Let's go.
Come on, Conker!
Let's go.
Yep, good. Making me stop can be useful, especially if you want to look around without me following the cursor.
So it's basically just a giant tech
Let's go.
demo.
Quick, right. I'm on it.
I love how it's cool how it uses your living room, though. That is cool, but like,
Spontaneously print. So get the speed groove.
Come on.
I don't know what the game is, though.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Roger that. Right. Yep. You got it.
Man, we got a long way to go for this technology. I think there's a reason why the game didn't really take off. You know what I mean? All the games. Oh! I'll never forget that one. All the game. You're watching another stream? You missed all of it. You missed everything. Now we're about to do Secret of Mana. I'm gonna take a quick break because I got some food here. But I almost wrote Secret of Mana. Creepy music. My cat's so curious. We haven't done it yet, Thanatos. What? Like I said, we're about finishing the tier list and we're gonna do it. Just like it says. We just finished this thing. I just want to make sure I have this all done. Want to make sure this is all good. Oh. There we go. And we still forgot Tui. No, imagine. No, where's Tui? See, now, all the haters. Look at all these haters. What about Conker? Category is bad. We haven't looked on enough, but where's Banjo Tooie? Can't find it. It's fixed! You just woke up? Nice. We just finished the updated tier list. We have put all the new games all up on it. If you want to see it, take a gander. Why am I still in full screen? There we go. Boom, boom. Let's throw it in the Discord too. Boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. I just keep saying boom. Boom. We're about to do Secret of Mana. So hold tight, everyone. Oh, the best sad song. Steak! I have one thing to tell you. I love you, Steak. Colonel, I wasn't expecting this. I didn't realize you had such strong feelings for me. But yeah, and also it's still on Tier Maker. So if you want to make your own version, you can create your own. So for anyone who wants to take a gander